And we are back with Skyrim. So,
By the gods, it's true, isn't it? A dragon has attacked White.
I'm gonna go up the mountain now.
On your way up the
Hopefully I'm not gonna die.
Passing through on
Damn
your
it.
way to High Hrothgar? About to make a delivery of... I've been to the monastery. Being masters of the Thuum, they could kill you by uttering a single word.
Oh,
Well,
really?
not that they would. They seem peaceful, but I wouldn't want to provoke them.
I'm sure they probably could kill me,
Mostly food supplies like
considering
dried
they're
fish, salted
NPCs who
meats.
are necessary to the
things
plot.
that keep
So,
fresh for a long time. The Greybeards tend
unless
to
you
get out
decide,
much,
like,
if you catch my meaning.
to really start a dedicated effort to, like,
Well, it's kind of an understanding between us.
kill them and shit
I mean,
like
it just
that.
wouldn't feel right
I
to
don't
charge
think,
them for a bit
even
of
if you had
preserved
like a
food.
mod to do it, right?
Trouble is,
But you
my
were
legs
still
aren't
like
what they used to be,
ordinary,
and
like
climbing to
didn't put on God
7,000
mode or anything like
steps
that,
takes its
they could
toll.
probably kill you, unless of course they decided to fucking run away like a civilian. Which they probably are.
Really? Well, that would be kind of you. Here, take this bag of supplies. At the top of the steps, you'll see the offering chest. Just leave the bag inside, and you're done. Well, there's the occasional wolf pack or stray, but that's all I've ever had to deal with. Shouldn't be a problem for the likes of you. Other than that, watch your footing. In these wintry conditions, the stairs can be treacherous. Well, there's the occasional wolf packers. Not today. I'm just not ready to make the climb to High Hrothgar.
Hello, my
That
friend.
isn't safe.
What can I do for you on
Careful
I always
up there.
thought it was odd that there's a layer of thick clouds covering a peak of the mountain above the
Anything
monastery.
you can tell me about High
Not
Hrothgar?
sure what's up there, but I bet the Greybeards know.
There's a lot of stuff taken from Beowulf
My father
in
taught
this,
me an important lesson many years ago. He said, Gwilyn,
which I think is quite interesting.
world before you. Go out and experience it. Be whatever you want to be. So I took his advice, and here I am. This life might not look like much to you, but I'm content. Isn't that all that matters? Aren't the Greybeards
I didn't hear a damn thing that he said.
Honestly, I'm not
Anyway, I'm gonna go up the mountain now. There's a troll on the mountain. Also, there should be... Before the birth of men, the dragons ruled all Mundus. Their word was the voice, and they spoke only for true needs. For the voice could blot out the sky and flood the land. Of course, dragons nowadays know how to speak English, but there's no dragons around. What's a fantasy story without dragons? I thought of a fantasy story once, where dragons were like super commonplace. Fucking a skeever! Arrgh. There's a goat somewhere. Where's the goat? Oh no, that's just Lydia. Where's the goat? Where's the goat? Where's the goat? Anyway. I was talking about something, wasn't I? I lost my train of thought again. That happens, quite a bit actually. Where I'll just talk about something for like 30 seconds and lose my train of thought. Let's see, there's a troll on the mountain, and then... Oh yeah, fantasy story about dragons. It's not about dragons, but the idea is that, you know, dragons would be like way more prevalent in the story than they are in other stories. Basically, like, dragons are super cool because they could be used as like war animals. You could just ride them into battle. Men were born and spread over the face of Mundus. The dragons presided over the crawling masses. Men were weak then and had no voice. See, you could have dragons be like, be like war elephants, where you ride them into battle and fuck, I'm getting caught in steps. You ride them into battle and they just like burn everything in their path. So you could have an empire born out of, dragons. But the only problem with that would be that, they'd essentially be like the Valerian Empire. And an added problem of this would effectively be, like, would they be like, slave drivers like in that, and, effectively they're just like super evil, the slaves beg for death because sulfur mining or silver mining in the volcanoes is so painful because of all the heat. But no, what if, right? What if they weren't just war animals, but they were also pack animals, Dragons are big. They can carry a lot. So if you manage to tame them, you can use them for trade. It's just like, oh, well, we don't need to, like, The fledgling spirits of men were strong in old times, unafraid to war with the dragons and their voices, but the dragons only shut them down and broke their hearts. But yeah, no, oh yeah, I have the Moon Forge, by the way. This is like something. This is a mod. You can create shit here. Steel. I don't have any steel, but Elven Longbow. Do I have... No, I have one steel ingot. Glamdring. The Witch King's sword. Is this one-handed or two-handed? Steel ingot. I have an iron ingot. Glamdring. So you need ancient Glamdring and Galamdring? I don't know. But I shall be sure to find a steel ingot, a silver ingot, and 2 leather strips. Make ancient Galamdring! I could polish Galamdring. But I need those steel ingots, man. I need those steel ingots. Remember to come up on the Moon Forge. But yeah, no. Because places like the Mughal Empire and even like, the Gupta Empire and shit like that, they didn't, use war elephants all that often. Mostly because they weren't at war all the time. See, in the real world, if you had dragons, you'd probably wind up by using them to their fullest extent and take over everything. But then again, you could do that, or being intelligent enough to know that, yeah, we can't really, control that much land without, some kind of a super advanced system that's going to be an absolute nightmare, and is going to be incredibly inefficient anyway. Why don't we stay as some kind of, like, city-state or something, and just, trade with everyone using our dragons as, like... Excuse me. Cain called on Parthenax, who pitied man. Together they taught men to use the voice. Then dragon war raged. Then dragon war raged. Dragon against tongue.
Wolves, if you're headed up the path to High Hrothgar.
But, yeah. So you could use them as, like, you know, trading devices. You know, like dragon caravans where they trade, they haul stuff across the sky. It would be really cool. But at the same time, maybe those would only be dragons that can't breathe fire. Or maybe a society, or maybe, like, you know, the neighboring kingdom has them. It's just like, oh, you like, you know, we can just trade with everyone else, and, you know, like, you know, there's two empires, right? One who has dragons, the other one has dragons, and they were both just like, okay, let's just use dragons to, like, trade with one another, because dragons don't have to be in one specific spot. They could be in multiple spots. Like, it doesn't have to be an island of dragons. It could be like the continent of dragons. Continent filled with dragons. There's... oh, shit. Urgh! Man prevailed, shouting Alduin out of the world, proving for all that their voice was too strong, although their sacrifices were manifold. And now to get out of here. Ah! I don't want to die. With roaring tongues, the Sky Children conquer, founding the first empire with sword and voice. Of course, the dragons withdrew from this world. The tongues of Red Mountain went away humbled. Jurgen Windcaller began his 7-year meditation to understand how strong voices could fail. Is it chasing me? No, but I think Lydia died. Okay, bye, Lydia. We hardly knew ya. Jurgen Windcaller chose silence and returned. The 17 disputants could not shut him down. Jurgen the Calm built his home on the throat of the world. See, my stupid North American tongue is trying to say Jurgen. Jurgen Windcaller. Jurgen Windcaller built his home on the throat of the world. But no, it's Jurgen Windcaller. Jurgen Windcaller built his home on the throat of the world. There's a fucking eagle. For years, all silent the greybeard spoke. One name, Tiber Septim. Stripling then was summoned to Hrothgar. They blessed him and named him Dovahkiin. Or Dragonborn. Dovahkiin, Dovahkiin, Novastardis, Rafin. The voices worship. Follow the inner path. Speak only in true need. Oh, I did it this time. See, you gotta read every one of them. It should be in miscellaneous. Shit. Should be in miscellaneous. Let me see. Corundium. Is this what the yeah, I think corundium is what's his name stuff is made from. The that shit. That the dwarves, the dweemer shit. So I'll stand on this diamond for you.
So, a dragonborn appears at this moment in the turning of the age.
All these people look sad.
First, let us see if you truly are dragonborn. Let us taste of your voice. Puss! Dragonborn, it is you. Welcome to High Hrothgar. I am Master Angir. I speak for the Greybeards. Now, tell me, Dragonborn, why have you come here?
Who are you? What is this place?
We are the Greybeards, followers of the Way of the Voice. You stand in High Hrothgar, here we commune with the voice of the sky, and strive to achieve balance between our inner and outer selves.
Fuck it, I'm ready to learn. Let's skip right through this.
You have the inborn gift. Do you have the discipline and temperament to follow the path?
I have a water bottle beside me.
That remains to be seen.
I don't think it's been opened in about a month or so.
You have already taken the first steps towards
All I remember is that I left it there.
into a thum, a shout.
And I'm supposed to
Now let us
like
see if you are willing
breathe at something.
to learn. When you shout, you speak in the language of dragons.
Okay, shout at
Your
something.
dragon
Shout at
blood
something.
gives
Shout at you.
inborn ability
Ah!
to learn words of power. All shouts are made up of 3 words of power. As you master
You
each
know-
word, your shout will become
Okay, so I've played
progressively
D&D
stronger.
twice officially,
Master Einarth will now teach
making me a
you
true
roll, the second
nerd.
word
I guess.
in unrelenting force.
I've played it twice. I liked it
Roll
both
means
times.
balance
Second time was
in
like
dragon
unofficial.
Combine it with force to focus your thumb more sharply.
Oh wow, all these guys have different beard styles. Oh wait, I'm supposed to be... Oh, I'm not learning yet? I'm not learning yet? Oh, that's nice. Yes. You know what? This will give me a good chance to talk anyway.
But learning a word of power.
But, yeah, I played D&D twice. And so, first time I tried attacking in D&D, I was told to attack. And I was like, okay, so attack. And so I'm just like, well, this is very much a role-playing game, so I swing my arm, and I yell, ha! And it's just like, no, you gotta roll your dice, dumbass.
Einarth will allow you to tap into his understanding of role.
Oh, right, yeah, there's... Like, I thought I missed something. No, I'm just, like, talking all the way through their dialogue, and they're just doing shit. I'm not supposed to be doing anything right now.
Use your unrelenting force shout to strike the targets as they appear. Well done. Again.
You guys are having some very heavy punishment dealt upon you.
You learn quickly. Once more.
I don't like him.
Impressive. Your thumb is precise. You show great promise, Dragon. We will perform your next trial in the courtyard. Follow Master Bori.
Can I take their robes at some point? Like, can I get robes like that and just, like, go around as a foxman in robes? And super cool robes. Where am I supposed to go? Like a foxman in super cool robes with a sword. Kind of like Gandalf. It'll be like Gandalf. Oh shit, you're here! Lydia! I thought you died. What the fuck happened to you?
You will now see how you learn a completely new shout. Master Bori will teach you wool, which means
I just hear this old man whispering in the background. I'm barely listening. Okay, Lydia, time to learn.
you must
Ha
hear the
ha
word
ha ha
before
ha 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 ha.
before you can project it into a thumb.
Well, this joke wasn't very funny.
Approach Master
Penetrate me.
Now we will see how quickly you can master new shout.
I'm supposed to stand here.
Master Wolfgar will demonstrate whirlwind sprint. Then it will be your
You know, looking at this in first person and with better graphics,
Master Bori.
I'm gonna go switch out my.
Now, your turn. Stand next to me. Master Bori will open the gate. Use your whirlwind sprint to pass through before it closes. Your quick mastery of a new thum is astonishing. I'd heard the story.
Oh, it's
of the
astonishing, is it?
dragon.
Yes, I'm a very fast learner in real life as well. I thought it was easy for
No,
everyone. Yes. Sometimes
Beware that
learning
your
things
skill
is
does
actually
not
quite
outstrip
difficult
your
for me
wisdom.
because my attention span is so fleeting
You
at
are now
times.
ready
I have
for
severe
your last
ADHD.
trial.
Which is why I have a whole bunch of shit around me actually right now. And I'm also very bored with this right now. So I have two pens in my hand half the time that I'm playing this while I'm just kind of sitting here. So I'm either just like mashing A and D, going from side to side. You know what? I don't need to know any of this. I've played this 1,000 times already, and I don't care. Retrieve the horn of Jurgen Windcaller. The thing about having severe ADHD is that I just, like, you know, I learn fast, and I don't care about half the details, because half the details don't matter. Just tell me where to put something, or what to do, or what to write, I don't know. Just tell me what to do, and just the most basic of details. If I need heavier details later, then that'll come later. For instance, like, writing essays, well, I think that's a pretty bad example, actually, because, well, I'm good at writing essays, as far as I know. The only problem is that sometimes I don't, like, because of my fleeting attention span, I don't look at the rules an awful lot. Like, well, I do look at the rules, but, like, I look at the rules, like, you know, skim them over, and it's like, okay, you know, like, most basic information, 6 to 7 paragraphs, take from the original text. That's good, yep, you know. And then, like, because this happened when I wrote a, an essay on, Shakespeare, actually. I included an outside source, a review, I believe it was. And so my professor called me and said, yeah, by the way, you have an outside source. And I go, is that not allowed? Look at their criteria. And it's just like, oh shit, yeah, don't worry, I'll get rid of that real quick. Don't you worry. And so, yeah. She understood. She understood. It's just like, yeah, you've got severe ADHD. You don't look at things all the way through because it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, oh shit. No, we can keep going. Let's go. But yeah, no, she understood pretty well that, my attention span was about that fleeting. And I actually got a pretty good mark on that anyway. It was an above average essay. Of course, I can barely stand reading Shakespeare. I know a lot of you are going to be going, but he's an old master, he's good at what he does. I prefer Molière. Call me a Frenchie, but, well, I'm a Frenchie. If anything, I much prefer comedies over tragedies. I was reading King Lear. Oh, fuck. Got caught on another step. I was reading King Lear, and it's just, it wasn't fun. I wasn't having any fun reading it. About halfway through, actually, I was ready to just call it quits. It's like, this is nuts. I can't focus. I can barely focus on the best of days, but, reading King Lear, it's particularly egregious because you're meant to watch it, not read it. It's a play, not a book. So, I had to imagine that it was an erotic comedy. Like, there's a scene where, I believe it was Reagan, who was talking to Edgar. Because Edgar's the bad guy, and Edmund's the good guy. But, basically, so Reagan is talking to Edgar, and so I just had to imagine she's like, about to go down on him when her husband walks in. He's just watching her go down on this guy, and it's just like, there's someone here to see you, and it's like, oh, get out! And it's like, okay. This weak, spineless man. That's what I had to imagine it as, just to be able to cope with reading it. It's not like I was going through, like a super tough time or anything. Even like, my ADHD was going through a rough swing. It was more so the fact that I just don't like reading King Lear anymore. Well, King Lear is one play. I don't like reading Shakespeare anymore. I liked Macbeth because that one it had elements of comedy in it, and they didn't just talk. It was filled with action. There was a lot of action in it, and also because it was partially read to me by my teacher as well. Because again, severe ADHD, I had some accommodations in school, but. I have no accommodations in university right now, though. Like, I was gonna put in a form to, like, get the courses, like, attuned to my level of, like, ADHD-ness, but I just kind of never got around to doing it, so I'm just like, fuck it, I'll just, do this all on my own. So, I'm in the second term right now, and it's just like, yeah, this is alright. I don't need, I don't need a form for that. I don't need extra money for this shit or anything like that. Hell, I don't need, like, a simpler course material or anything like that. No, I don't need it. I don't need it. I don't need it. I never needed it before. I don't need it now. I kept denying, actually, whenever I would take, like, the tests, the final tests, everyone, like, the teachers, would ask, like, okay, so do you need someone to read it out to you? No. Do you need extra time? That would be nice, but I always finish in, like, half an hour anyway. When ordinarily I'm given an hour, I finish in like half an hour. You're giving me 2 hours. Okay. the only reason why I took so long before, I actually take quite a while in science. I used to love science. Back when I thought it was just combining chemicals in test tubes and that's it. Turns out there's a lot of math to it. And while I'm good at ordinary math, I'm not good at scientific math. Because that, to me, is an archaic concept. I can do, like, you know, geometry and shit like that. Geometry, polynomials, algebra, pre-calculus. I never took proper calculus. But all that stuff was pretty good. You know, I actually got pretty good marks in all that stuff. But in science, you know, I took chemistry level 30. And I got, like, I think 30% in that. It's probably my lowest course that I've ever gotten. Everything else I got that semester was around, like, 70. Pretty average, to be honest. I know I got, like 75 in social sciences. Everything was in French, by the way, so if I start referring to things in, like, French, like sciences sociales or stuff like that, you know, it's because it was in French. I got a 75 in sciences sociales, I think. And I know I got, like, you know, a pretty high mark. I think I got, like, an 80% in my first semester of French. In 12th grade. I got pretty high marks all throughout school, actually. Like, they weren't, like, the highest marks, like 100% and shit like that. I know I got, like, 90% in English, because I'm actually quite good at English. I once boasted, actually, that I was going to write my teacher a novel for a simple project. I wound up by writing them about a 19-page short story. This was back in 8th grade, by the way. So they asked, like, it's just like, okay, so right, like, you know, we were studying, like, short murder stories. These stories were, like, 4 pages long and had a fuck ton of pictures in them. And they were in, like, you know, the textbooks, course textbooks, you know, the kinds that you get in, like, 8th grade. Where they were, like, paperback, and they had all these images to accompany the short paragraph. Like, the paragraph itself was, like, the paragraphs themselves are, like, always, like, 5 sentences or so. I'm gonna put this to 45 minutes, maybe, because I'm not done telling the story. Yeah, these stories would usually go over, like, 4 or 5 pages. And so it's like, okay, write, like, a short story, like, a short murder mystery or whatever. And so it's just like, I wanted to write a novel, but I only got 19 pages through it, and me being in 8th grade, it wasn't very well written, but I still did my best, and there was a lot of stuff that was left, like, you know, because it was supposed to be a novel at first, right? So I had to put a slapdash ending, basically. So what I did was I basically had, you know, the main antagonist, who was supposed to be in the entire novel. Yeah, I got to 19, yeah, I think it was 19 pages that I got to, by the time I gave it back to them. But the next year I actually went a little further, and I think I got to 23 pages, maybe. And then my computer crashed, and all my, well, I don't think my computer crashed, no, my USB key bugged out, and stopped being able to save the proper amounts of data. So all the data on there, because my short story was saved onto there, like it turned into, like, basically my point being is that it turned into a 19-page short story with a lot of stuff that was alluded to. Like, I was setting a whole bunch of stuff up, and it wasn't very well set up, but it was set up nonetheless. Basically Chekhov's gun style stuff, like, if you see a gun in one scene, it better be fired in the next, or by the end of the movie. So I was setting all this stuff up, you know. You had, you know, an assassin who had killed some guy who knew something, and so the main character, a private investigator, manages to track down this assassin and tracks down what this guy knew, why this assassin, this hired gun actually, why this hired gun killed him, and then he gets a call from the real bad guy, and it's just like, oh no! And that's where, you know, it ends, basically. But it was setting up for a whole bunch of different, for a whole bunch of stuff, so it's just like... So it's just like, all this stuff was supposed to be getting set up. You basically took the first, like, 6 chapters of a novel, or of a book, and said, here, it's a short story. And, well, it's good, and it got me a pretty high mark. I mean, I would have really enjoyed finishing it. And it wasn't really that good of a story anyway. Oh, well, yeah, okay, there's a notification. But it wasn't that good of a story anyway. It had to do with, like, you know, there's some kind of conspiracy theory out there of, like, you know, dinosaurs in the Congo jungle. So, it was supposed to be that. That was, like, you know, what the main antagonist was after, like, you know, trying to find this out, and some guy was covering it up, like, helping with the cover-up, so whatever. And it's just like, it was supposed to be, you know, the main character was supposed to change allegiances from, I'm gonna, you know, track down this guy who killed another man, to, well, I don't even think he was supposed to change allegiances. It was more supposed to be like, you know, hey, I'm, you know, you killed a guy. Well, he was covering something up. Well, I don't care, you still killed a guy. That was supposed to be what it was, but, you know, I only got into, like, you know, again, the first few chapters of it, so I didn't get to finish it. I still really would have liked to. I have a lot of ideas for books and short stories and stuff. Anyway, I'm gonna call it a day here. I'll see you guys all next time.